Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we're taking a look at Rakan. So the gameplay you're seeing right now, I recorded just a few minutes ago, and it was a game where I was playing Rakan as support, obviously, um, and I had a Xayah AD carry, so it was the perfect game to do a video about. I actually did a commentary in game, but it went on for like 26 minutes and there was just too much going on, so I didn't actually talk about everything I want to talk about, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So I'm just gonna record this after the game is ended and we'll see how it goes. So every time a new champion comes out or reworks happen, you will see titles on YouTube saying Rakan is OP and Rakan is way too strong. What's Riot doing? Every every time stuff like that will happen. If you look at videos about the mid-season update, everything is titled "This is OP," "That's OP," everything is OP. It's not, and I will probably do some videos, one or two, maybe even three, on the updates for the mid-season patch. But I'm saying I might do that, but I will only do that if I actually have something to talk about. So, for example, I used to be a big SAC player. I might talk about SAC because I know a lot about SAC. I've never been a Sejuani player, so I probably won't do a lot about Sejuani. So maybe I will mention just the basics of what I think of the champion, but I won't do a whole video just about Sejuani. Maybe I will just do a video on SAC, and maybe a video on Maokai, and then I will just combine everything else in one video, or do just everything in one video except SAC. I will have to see what I'm gonna do, but that will be coming soon. So I've been away for a while. It's vacation where I'm in my country, so that's why there haven't been any videos. I also just wanted to mention that. But now we're back. It's still vacation. I still have a lot of work to do in that vacation, but we're gonna be making some videos. And today is Rakan, so let's just get started. Let's see. So Rakan has been out for a while now, and we already got a lot of information about him, as always, before he was actually out. So most people should know by now what his abilities are. So I won't really talk about it. I will just describe them real short, but I will mostly talk about how they feel, because not everyone um, has actually used Rakan, and no, a lot of people probably haven't played him, or like they decided to get Xayah and not Rakan. So that's what I want to talk about. I also want to talk about what Rakan is gonna be like in the future, or what I think he's gonna be like in the future. So, for example, will he be a competitive pick, or will he be a big solo queue pick? All of that, and I will talk about how good he is with Xayah, because there's a big difference. So let's just get started. First thing I'm gonna talk about is just his abilities and how they feel. So some people may want to skip it, or just watch the part that they're interested in. Well, I'm sorry for you guys, but um, I'm not putting in some like a skip button, because that would be work that I don't want to do because I'm busy. So yeah, I apologize. I'm just not gonna do it. Most of the time I actually say stuff like I will do this, and I will put something in the description or something like that. I always forget it anyway, so I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do it. It's probably just not gonna happen. If I do decide to do it, then yay, I did it. But yeah. So let's start with his passive, and his passive is nice. There's not a lot to say about it. It has a cooldown of, I believe, 38 seconds, at least at level 1. I don't know if that cooldown actually changes. And every 38 seconds, we'll go with that, even though it might not be true, you actually get a small shield. It's not too big, it's not very impactful, but it's something, and it will help a little bit in lane phase because he's a melee champion, even though he has kind of high range. At least I'm pretty sure he is. I'm just gonna say that I'm not 100% sure. I'm actually gonna have to check this because I'm trying a lot of stuff. I'm thinking about some builds. So in this video I'm actually going the standard sport item on him, where before I actually tried like the other sport items, at least the blue one. I'm not sure what the name is right now, but I'm actually gonna be trying the other one. If he's actually melee, I think why are we not taking that? Would make sense to me, but we'll see. So that's his passive, and it's every time you use an ability, I believe it gets 1 second shorter, but it's not too impactful, it's not too big, it just helps a little bit in laning phase. Then if you go to his Q, it's actually very nice how it feels. It's just a skill shot. If you hit it, it does some damage, it comes back, and after I believe 3 seconds it heals you and everyone around you on your team in a small area. But if you actually touch an enemy champion while you're waiting those 3 seconds, it actually just happens. So it happens immediately. And that's great in laning phase. It helps you with some poke and some heals, so it's just a small laning phase ability. It's not too impactful later on, but it can help, I guess. It can get you, can be the difference in a kill or saving your AD carry with that heal. It's something. It's not amazingly big, but in laning phase it's kind of impactful. Now the one thing I've noticed is that it's actually kind of hard to hit it. It's a skill shot for one, and it's not like an easy skill shot to hit in any way. But the thing is that it's really short range, so you have to walk up to people, and then you will most likely take some damage. And then if you have to hit it, but it's a skill shot, so they can dodge it, and that means you take free damage a lot of the time. And if you do hit it, it doesn't do that much damage, especially if you don't upgrade it, and if you do, it actually isn't that much anyway. So I recommend upgrading E or even W if you want to. I don't know if that would be effective, but if you just, let's say you have a pre-made with your jungler and he can come a lot of the time, upgrading W might even be best. In flex queue and stuff like that, it might be useful. But it's very short range, so you have to get really close. You will always take damage doing that, or your enemies are making big mistake. Basically, they're not playing it right. And if you miss it, you don't get the heal. Now, if you do get the heal, that's where it actually gets interesting, because a lot of the damage you take, you will heal it back up. Probably not all of it, just a little bit, depending on how much damage you took. Like if the AD carry and the support are attacking you while you walk up, or if it's just a support, like I was against the Sona, I took quite a bit of damage. I hit my Q, I healed about half of it, so I actually ended up taking some damage. But then I healed my AD carry, and that was like at least useful. So I helped my AD carry, but I take damage. That's basically it. And if you miss it, it's just a horrible trade because you don't get anything and you lose a lot of health. So I don't really like it. It's a good ability, but the range is so annoying that you just expect it to hit every time and then it just misses. Like you can see that right there, it misses. where I definitely expected that to hit, and it just didn't. But yeah, let's go on to the W, and it's a very nice ability, and I actually like show it to you properly somewhere, probably soon in the video, but I'm not gonna cut it because it's a 30 minutes video, 30 minutes game I recorded, and I might need that much time. I don't think I will, but we're at 10 minutes already. Like, I've been talking for quite a lot now, and I didn't even notice. So I'm gonna be going over it a little bit faster. So the W, it's a quick jump, and then it has a small delay, which they call a dramatic pause, I believe, which fits with the champion, but it's very annoying because people will move out of it a lot of the time. So people can easily dodge it, where it's an ability that you really need to hit because it's your CC that you want to use in smaller trades. So as you can see right here, again, I definitely thought at least a W would hit, maybe not a Q because he actually dodged that, and I just messed up a little bit with that. But I expected that W to hit. He didn't, and that's pretty big sometimes. So that's why it's a really fun ability, and it's really fast, so you can dodge stuff and do a lot with it. It's very useful, but it's not very reliable CC. You have to get like more experience on Rakan to actually hit that a lot of the time. Maybe you need to flash. Like as you can see there, I was just out of range, and that happens way too much. So if you flash W there, it might be better. So that could work very well. But yeah, I think Rakan is a champion that you're gonna need to have quite a lot of experience on. It's not a Soraka. It's gonna be a champion that you have to main probably, or at least have to play quite a lot. So the W is the one thing I want to talk about, and again I demonstrate this point too in somewhere in the video, but I'm not gonna skip to it. You can actually use it very well to ambush people. So you just go wait in a bush with your team or something. If you know someone's coming, you can time your W very well, and it will always hit. It's very reliable CC in that way actually, so it might actually be a good idea to do that. Not 100% sure if that's the best idea, but from my experience it's actually very good. So yeah, I think that's like in control about Baron and Drake and stuff like that in objectives. It would also be good in roams and just ganking people in, for example, mid lane. You could wait in a bush, and let's say they are warding, you could just jump on them pretty easily, because if people don't know you're gonna do it, because it's very predictable when Rakan will use his W, and it's very easy to dodge it that way. But if you're coming from a bush, it's a lot harder, I would say. And if you're just using it in a bush, you're just standing in a bush and you use it on top of you, it will probably always hit. So that's very useful when you're baiting Baron and stuff like that. It's just a tip I will give to everyone. Then your E, it's a really small jump, and this is assuming you're not playing with Xayah, right? So it's a small jump. It gives you a few seconds, I believe 5 seconds or something, that you can actually use it again, and both times it gives a shield to the person you're jumping to. So you jump to an ally, and it's a good ability. It's very useful in laning phase. It's very useful in like small trades and stuff like that, but it's a pretty small range. So that means for escaping, people will need to get used to Rakan, and even then I'm not sure if it will actually be all that useful. If like a lot of people, from my experience right now, ignore you. They don't help the support get out. They don't care about you, and that feels pretty bad as a support. But It's just true. They don't come closer to you to give you the jump. Like I've had multiple times that people just didn't care enough to give me the jump, where I could easily have survived, and they just gave away a free kill. But yeah, that's just how it is with support, right? Um, so yeah, that's the thing, and it's not a good thing, but there's not a lot you can do about it. So yeah, that's the E. And then you have the R, which gives you movement speed boost. And when you hit an enemy champion, you taunt them for a little bit, and you can hit 5 champions. And when you hit the first person, it actually gives you another movement speed boost, a lot bigger, but it's decaying. So yeah, that actually is a very good ability. I was kind of surprised because when I looked at it, I would be like, well, they can't make it too fast because it would be too strong. So it's probably like really slow and it just looks bad and you can't really do anything with it. It's not like that. It actually works very well. Um, so yeah, I really like it. It's good in laning phase, especially when a gank is coming. It's very reliable CC. Even if you miss your W, you get close enough to use your R. So it will work that way. So in late game, in team fights, you can use your W, hit a 5-man or 3-man, whatever, just hit it, and then you can use your R to actually get even more reliable CC, and it's really useful. It actually does quite a lot. Okay, so that were all of his abilities. So the next thing is how good is it with Xayah. So there are 3 big interactions. You have the recall, which can be useful. Like as a support, you might want to, like, you can go somewhere real quick, place another ward, walk back, or use your E to get back to her, and then recall with her in like 1 second. It can be useful in this game, and this was the only game I've ever played with Xayah as Rakan, and it didn't work all that well, so it wasn't anything special. Yeah, it was just like, okay, I gained 1 second. It's something, but it's not big. Then you get the Xayah W, which basically it gives her like attack speed or something, and it throws another feather out. And if you play with Rakan, Rakan does it too. So that's quite a lot, and it gives a lot of tower damage too, tower pressure. I don't know how big it is. It's probably useful to get the stun and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not a Xayah player, so I don't really know how much damage that is and all. But I guess it's pretty useful. Then, if you look at Rakan, his E is the big thing. As I said before, it's a really small range, and people screw you over a lot. Doesn't happen with Xayah. It's really big range with Xayah, and it works very well. So yeah, I would definitely say, I don't know how much W does, but I imagine it does quite a bit. As you can see right here, I jump in and I can always jump out to Xayah, and I know that, so that's why I'm confident to jump in. Just to stop them for a moment. We still die, but it was the right decision to make because I knew I would jump out. Even if she flashed, I would jump out. That's why it works. So I do think Rakan and Xayah together are way stronger, and I don't know how strong Xayah will be on her own. I do think that Rakan on his own can be very useful. In lane phase, he's kind of safe. It's like this game we lost, but you can definitely win laning phase with an all-in if you get the jungler to help. Your damage isn't too good, but you do have some shields and you have a lot of CC and some sustain, some poke, just a little bit of everything, but you're more of a tank. Like if you look at all the champions that do that, you get Nami, which is very squishy, and you get kind of Karma, which is a little bit more damage focused, I would say. Like Rakan has more shields and CC, where Karma doesn't really have that much CC. She is more about damage. Like she has, to be fair, she does have her W, but hitting the W a lot of the time doesn't really work. So people walk out of it and use their mobility to get out of it, stuff like that. So I do think Rakan will be a good pick, especially in like pro play. It would be a very good pick with Xayah, but I don't think in pro play they will give people a combo with Rakan and Xayah. So you will probably only get one, right? Like that makes sense to me because they should be able to ban at least one of them, or you get them in at the same time. Like if they aren't really big yet, you might be able to let the other team first pick. Like if the other team first picks, you can just lock in Rakan and Xayah after that right away, and maybe they don't get that. Maybe you can actually, but if you get them together, I would say that's where they're strong, mostly in competitive, and I do think both can get strong enough in competitive, but they require I can talk. They need a lot of good communication, especially with Rakan E and stuff like that. Communication will be important, so that's why Flex Q is always good. Even if you can't get them together, Flex Q will be useful. But yeah, in solo queue, I do still think they can work, but I think you need to put a lot of time in them, like separately, right? Together they will always work, I would say, because they're just stronger, especially like if you have a duo queue, which you can do in solo and duo queue. So duo queue bot lane, that would work. But Rakan on its own can still be very good, I think. It's a good champion, it's strong, it has a lot of CC, like everything I talked about, it's very good, it's very fun too. It's probably the most fun support I've ever played, actually. Because all of the things you can do, it's so much, and it's really fun. Like all of the jumps, all of the mobility, it's not something you used to on a support, right? Supports most of the time, like they're tanks, they're healers, they don't have a lot of mobility. This champion has it, and it's amazing. I love doing it. So yeah, that's why I would definitely recommend it too, just because it's fun. But I would also say, like, it's if you put in enough time, if you actually play a lot of games on him, if you are a one trick or a main, or like at least it will have to be one of your main picks as a support. It will be a good champion, that's what I would say. I'm not sure about it, obviously, but that's what I think. So yeah, I would recommend picking him up, actually. Then, in the future, like if you look at it, it will be a support if you ask me. Jungler, I don't think he has the clear to do it, because he doesn't get the heal with his Q. Only works on champions and epic monsters, so like Drake and stuff like that, but not on normal camps. So no heal, not a lot of damage. He does his W, which is AoE. Maybe if you build some AP and you get some help in the early game, you can actually make it work. Like do stuff like raves with it. If you just upgrade your W, I just don't think it will happen. So one thing I'm gonna be trying out is actually I don't think AP Rakan mid lane or like Rakan top lane will be a thing, because he needs to be together with someone. I'm actually gonna be trying something really weird, and I don't think it will work, but we'll see. If he's melee, you can build Titanic Hydra on him, and as he has like pretty big range and stuff like that, I'm just gonna try it, but I don't expect anything from it. So like the Titanic Hydra into maybe even Borg, or just tank after that. That's what I'm gonna be trying. I don't think it will be a thing, but we'll see. You never know, right? But yeah, I think it will be a support. I don't think any AP builds and stuff like that, I don't think it will happen. And as a support, it will be like redemption and stuff like that, and then just full tank. I actually think not going full support items is better, because you need to jump in, you need to get your W off and your R, And in this game especially, as you can see right here, I jump in and I die. So you need to go pretty tanky. So stuff like Sunfire and uh, well, that kind of item, like you actually want to go full tank. So that's what I would recommend. Like go 2-3 support items, boost, well, redemption, your support item, probably some item you build on support, boots, and then armor item and magic resist item. That's what I'm doing right now, and it works pretty well. Didn't really get to it this game, but from my experience, that's probably the best build. So that's basically what I think about it. I hope you enjoyed, and the one thing again I will give this, I wanted to do this in game, like you can actually hear me like be really happy when playing Rakan. I love it, and that's like the most important message I'm giving today. Rakan is probably the most fun support I've ever played. Like if you are a support main and you haven't picked him up, I will say with that I like the tank supports. I like the supports with a lot of CC, and who doesn't like stuff like assassins with a lot of mobility, like all the flashy plays. It's just fun to do. Um, so that's those two combined. It like a tank with CC. That's what I like. I like healers too. It has some healing. It's okay in laning phase with his poke, which I don't really play like the full AP supports because I'm more of an old school support player. So that's why I really like it. It's all of the things combined in one champion that I love. And I think a lot of other people would agree with me on that, that it's just really fun to play it. And that's the main reason why I would recommend it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and just talk to me in the comments what you think of Rakan or Tsaya. We can have a discussion if you want to. There's a lot more to talk about, I guess, but I don't have time for everything, and like as you can see right now, that's how you use it in Bush. I knew I did it somewhere, but I didn't know where. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and just tell me in the comments what you think of him, because I think he's great, but a lot of people might not agree with me, and that's fine, but I'm interested, so yeah. So yeah, again, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video.